Today I want to show you how I made my track Lost. It is a progressive house type of trap. I released this trap almost 2 years ago or something like that. I was reopening this project because there was a specific sound that I want to get, the preset, because I didn't remember what scene that I used. Since I didn't record any video for this, I decided to record a video showing some of the elements that I use, but I noticed that I haven't exported some of the files, so the CPU is quite a problem at the moment. So I had the file of the track over here, so this is what I'm going to play to show you the current trap, and I'm gonna play some of the elements on its own. So let me play the track so you can get the idea of how this track sounds. That's the master version, and I'm gonna start by showing you the chorus. This is the main melody of the track, so I want to keep this one for the last. So we got the chorus over here, and I had 3 layers. This is how it sounds together. As you can hear, it's not that easy to play while I'm recording this, but let me play each one. So this is the final processing for each sound, and this is how it sounds the first one. We have a chord, the one panning on the left side, it sounds like this. It's a soft scene. Then this is the next one. It's taking care of the high frequency. And the last one, which is a guitar sound. So that's a really nice sound. So let me give you a short walkthrough on the processing. So for the first one, we only have this EQ. The next one, just an EQ, removing some of the low frequencies, since this is just taking care of the high frequency. And for the guitar sound, we have Camel Crusher, an EQ, PsyQ, and Echo Boy Jr. And the 3 sounds are routed into this post channel, which I'm using the Capitator with the preset. I didn't use any preset, I just adjust the dry signal and the setting of the style. A Pro Q3 with some reductive EQ, pretty much boosting a little bit the side information on the high frequency. Then a multiband compressor. This is a native plugin from FL. Lastly, I'm using a reverb from Valhalla Vintage. It's the 80s subtle chamber preset. Then I'm using this patcher preset, which is an imitation from Dada Light. And then we have some pads over here. This one. Kinda a metallic type of sound, and then this ambient sound. In the ocean, it's really nice. And then I had this vocal playing on the in the entire section, as you can see the file over here. So this is how it sounds. So I think it's the same. It's the same note playing in the entire section. The processing for that one, we have vocal. So I do have a lot of processing. We have pitcher, decapitator, an EQ, OTT, Nectar 3. I don't have any presets, so I just have the de-esser and compressor. Then I have Pitch Monster. And the preset for this one is just adding upper harmonics 1 octave higher. Little Alter Boy with the Mother Double presets, about 30% the mid level. An EQ with the preset Vocal Lead 3. So after that processing, I bounce the file so I can apply all the effects processing, which are the reverb, anodizer, another pitch monster, an EQ, Doge Pro, which is a sidechain preset, another EQ. Oh, I don't know, maybe I didn't use it. A filter, and then I think that'll be all for the vocal. And as you can see, the Doge Pro, which is the sidechain, I have an automation click over here. So on the brace section, the sidechain is off, but once we're getting into the drop, I had the sidechain all the way up, even though it's sidechaining with the keep, but I think that I like the effects that this preset have, so that's the reason why I had the sidechain on in this channel. And then we had the filter automation, as you can see over here. And now we are moving into the drop section. So we have the chorus, and this is the first one. So a really type of digital scene. And then we have these other leads playing over here. For the first chord, which is the one panning on the left, I only had this automation clip, and I used the Cymatic Origin plugin to create an automation clip over here, and that'll be all for that. But for the second lead, you can hear this automation over here. So I automate the filter automation from the synthesizer, not an external, and the reverb automation over here, which that one is from the Reverb 2, which is the native plugin from FL. That'll be all for this. I have a modulation envelope over here, an automation, and this is how it sounds over here. And for the processing of those, we have, so for the first one, I had the Capitator, an EQ. This is the plugin that I used to create this automation over here. And this is just to add like a lo-fi type of vibe at the sound. Then we got the final EQ, doing some reductive EQ. And for the leads, we have Isotope Trash, an EQ, Fine Micro with the Space Grinder preset, Fruity Reverb, another EQ, and Gross Beat. I'm not sure what is Gross Beat doing. I think it's just adding this. Oh, it's creating that type of stutter effect, and the I think that is called, let me look for the name, complex. What's the name of that? Oh, it's the pitch bend effect, the one over here. So nice. Then we're getting into the boss channel, and I have Saturn 2, and I use the preset Brutal Compressor and EQ. I do have quite a lot of reductive EQ, as you can see, a compressor, patcher, and then we have this EQ, which is just every time that the vocal shot is playing and removing some of those frequency over here. So it is a sidechain EQ, which is a really nice function from Pro Q3. That's the reason why I like this. The same imitation from Data Life, a filter automation. Then we have the bassline. So we had 3 layers for the bassline. As always, sub, mid, and the high. And this is how it sounds together. Hopefully I can play it. really interesting sound for the bass. So we had the mids. As you can hear, it has a resonant automation, and then we have the high. So I'm hearing the same resonant automation, so let me check. So the resonant modulation is this EQ that I'm using over here, just to add a different texture or movement at the sound. And the processing for this one on the boss, I think we have Saturn with the brutal compressor presets, an EQ, a compressor, and another EQ. And I have this EQ filter, which is this section over here. Nice. And then for the sub, this is how it sounds. And the processing for this one is Camel Crusher, an EQ, and a limiter. Then we are getting into the kick, the snare, and percussion, and I'm gonna play all of them together at the same time. So we had the kick and the snare first. Percussions. Really nice rhythm. So we had this hat, this shaker, and these other two percussion, this one and this one. I'm gonna show you the percussion that I use on the brace section. So we got this shaker loop. In the mids. So it's very subtle, but you hear taking care of the rhythm. Some sample effects over here. We got the build dot. That's a heavy snare. With a phaser automation at the end, then another snare. And then a clap. With a lot of reverb. So this is how it sounds in the mids. I'm gonna play the export that I have. They sound really nice. Personally, I like it. I don't have any build dots in the first section, just in the second one. So let me hear what I have on this section. In this section, I use the same kick that is playing on the drum. So as you can hear, just the rhythm that I just changed over here on the MIDI file. And of course the automation for the filter. So I think it's time to show the melody. So this is how it sounds. And I think on the second section I used a pitch monster automation. Yeah. So yeah, just to add the variation without having to add another sound, just one plugin. Since I'm only using one element, I had to do quite a lot of processing in order to keep the track interesting, not too simple. Let me see the boss for this one. I didn't export each element. I just export the full stem, but each sound it has quite processing, as you can see over here. I'm only using 3 sounds, and I think I have another one. So I had 3 layers over here. Oh, this is the, okay, so this is the drop. Okay, so I got over here. So this is the file. So I had 3 layers. Let me play on its own how it sounds. So this is the first one. So it's an arpeggiator, but I'm using the arpeggiator setting from FL. This is the second one. Silent 2. And the last one. So all of these are routed into this boss channel, this one over here. And we have Decapitator, ProQ3, OTT, Delay. So I can have this detail over here, like this one over here. You can see the automation. I was automating just the last note, so I can have that little detail over here. So on those empty space, I decide to add that little detail. And after the delay, I had the reverb, then Songodizer, Doge Pro, Pitch Monster with the preset that is adding like the upper harmonics over here. And what else? So after that, also in Imager, I think just to taking care of the space that I want to cover with this sound and the filter automation. And I have an extra chord playing on the second break, which is this one. Let's hear that on the mids. So I have to go back to this. It sounds really nice. And let me see what I used for that. I think it was Harmor. So I used Serum for that sound. And the processing is just little radiator, an EQ, and the same boss channel that I showed you at the beginning. Distortion, EQ, compressor, and reverb. I had this lead playing over here too. Let's hear that sound in the mids. It sounds really like a part type of thing. I can hear the sound, but if you hear the track for the first time, you won't even notice that sound. But it's taking care of some of the frequency over there and almost a little bit on the drop, which is this section over here. I have to mute this because otherwise this part over here. Kinda to create like an extra high type of sound in the second drop. But I did lower the volume, as you can see over here. This is an automation clip. What else do we have? The same vocal player on the second drop. And I think, let me see. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all. Like I say, I think that'll be all for this drop. This is the reason why I like to keep everything with the same color and kinda this way, because even though it's been a really long time since I finished this trap, I don't remember exactly each sound, what did I use or the processing, but by looking the colors, I know exactly what it is. So, okay, so that's the core. Even though I have labeled everything, as you can see over here with the name. So we got the Brave melody, and on the drop section, it's just the MIDI that I did a few changes to have a different variation. Whenever I decide to come back to check something or get a sound, or I don't know, if like in this case that I decide to record a video for this, I don't know, it's been almost, it say that it is 21, so almost 2 years since the last time that I opened this project. I kind of get a rough idea of the sound by just looking at the color. So that's the core for the break. The purple color is for the pads or texture, ambient sound. The vocals, it's the pink color, and the same blue color for the chorus, either the break or the chorus, as you can see. So this is for the break and the chorus. The green is for the bass line. In this case, it's the same bass line playing the entire track. And this lemon type of color is for the sub. I like to have that one in a different color too. And this orange is for the kick and the snare, and the yellow one is for the percussion, and same for the break and the drop. As you can see, this is the drops and this is for the break. In this case, the build dots elements that I use is the same thing, the orange color, but the kick and the snare and the build dots element, even though they have the same color, those are in separate channel in the mixer. Same for the chords, for the drop and for the bass line. I like to keep those separated. I decide to spend that extra CPU by using the same preset. But that way I know that I have everything completely separated, and it's just my preference of work. It might take a bit of time by label everything and consume a bit more CPU, but I decide to really commit to the sound and bounce everything so that way I don't have any problem with the CPU, because I also like to have the master chain in the same process, because if I have to do a tweak in the sound, I can do that in the same project without having to come back to the old project. And frankly, this like to take a long time to open this project, so I like to have everything in the same project to do change and everything. So this section is for the sample, and the white noise sounds, I like to use a purple color, and the tonal effects like this, I like to have those in red color, and the impact sound like the sub, like that one, I like to have on green, and any crash sound is gonna be on yellow, like that one. And those are in its own kind of channel, and they are routed into this bus channel. I don't apply too much processing on this one, just the sidechain, and then they are heading directly into the master bus. I think it's the first time that I explain the color that I use for each sound. That's the idea why I like to have everything like this. Sometimes when I start a project, I know that I kind of got this feeling that I had to label everything at the moment, because if I forgot to continue working on that project, then I'm kind of struggling. Oh, what the hell is this? Which sound is this? Or whatever. So that's the reason why I like to keep everything at least colored, but not the name. So that way I know exactly what it is, and I can reference exactly, oh, so this is deep. I can set it up on my mixer channel, which is already color labeling. I just need to send it to the right number and apply the processing that I want, and that way it's already setting over there. So for the future, I don't have to do any extra work on color code and know exactly what it is. I'm not sure if I should explain the master chain, which is, I know if somebody just came across with this video, it might be good for them to know the master chain, so I know so I'm going to do it. But if you watch some of my old video, it's the same master chain that I've been using on the past trap. So the first thing that I have is this Saturn 2 with the Saturate Color presets. Then we have this patcher with Oxford Inflator. This is the Oxford Inflator, a Pro Q3, lastly the compressor. Then I use this compressor. At this time I didn't have the SSL imitation from Analog Session, so I used to use this plugin as my second compressor. Then I use the Shadow Hill, next the Ozone Night plugin, dynamics and the decider and the imager processing and the limiter with the tube setting. Oh, and by the way, for all the compressor that I have mentioned in the past, everything is just compressing about 2 to 3 dB, maybe 4 dB max. Since this track is kinda really bouncing, it's picking about 4 dB the compression. Then we have this clipper. I think that I have said this is a compressor, but this is a limiter. So then we have this limiter. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but this limiter, I got it for free. I don't know, maybe 2020 or 2021, I don't know. But the only issue with this is that in order to install this, you have to get a software. You have to get a software and some other stuff like that, like full of crap. And it's almost taking between 5 to 10 gigabytes, I guess, just to install this plugin. And everything else you can really use it because you have to pay for them, and this one is free. Of course, they send you the license, so you put the license and everything, but it comes with a lot of extra stuff that you don't really need, man. Fuck. I really like this plugin. That's the reason why I decided to keep it. And by that time, I did have a lot of extra space on my hard drive. That's the reason why I decided to keep it. Other than that, if I knew beforehand, probably I wouldn't even use this, but that's one thing to know. And lastly, I have the limiter from Pro-L with the punchy setting style. I thought that it was settings with the punchy style. And I think that's all for the master chain. And since I have the file over here, let me show you how much the low signal for this one. I'm gonna show you the information for this trap. So I think this is the first time that I'm gonna show you the loudness information for this trap or any trap, because in the past I haven't been able to play that. I think I should just bring the final version to the playlist so you can see. And this is what we got. Let me reduce the volume on my headphones. And on the editing process, I have to lower the volume of this track too, because otherwise it's gonna be a problem. Oh, sorry for that. I just slide to play the track a little bit. So anyway, that's the trap. I really like this trap. The percussion, the kick and the snare, the rhythm of the track itself. And the processing that I did on that part, from the same sound, and on the second part of the drop, I'm moving the main lick 1 octave higher. I like that. You can find the link for this track in the description down below. It's available to stream in every major platform. If you have any question about the production on some of the elements, I didn't explain pretty well, I know. I don't remember exactly, but if you want to know something specific, let me know. I can try to look for the specific sound and explain what I did and more into details on the effects processing, because today I kind of did a little overview not really into details. I wasn't planning on record this video, but since I opened this project, I decided, well, it would be fine to show this track because I really like, and I know that I did quite a bit of processing, so yeah. I hope that you like this video and thank you for watching.